try to give the board a better idea of where our district is and budget projections for the future, curriculum, staffing, etc. The administrative team and I spent many days together, working full days, to come up with some different scenarios that we wanted to present to the board this evening to hopefully help them make a educated idea or educated vote on December 3rd. We came up with a few different scenarios, and those are things that I'm going to go ahead and present this evening to the board. All right, so the first presentation here has to do with if the district would stay status quo. What would the district look like? Taking a look at our statement of purpose, we had to try to think, or we thought of, why are we doing this? Why are we even looking at possibly closing a school? What's our whole purpose here of getting together and making these slides? In response to the current financial conditions and fiscal plan status, the Southern Tioga School District intends to be fiscally responsible to the taxpayers while trying to offer equitable educational opportunities for our students. So in doing that, we're trying not to have taxes go through the roof, while at the same time trying to give our students the education that they deserve and make it equitable across the district. The different things that we looked at 10 different scenarios. You may think, why did we look at so many? We tried not to leave a rock unturned. The different scenarios that you see up here on the screen, number one is to remain status quo, doing absolutely nothing, keeping things going as they are right now. What would that look like? Number two, close Liberty High School. What that actually means is close Liberty Elementary School, move the kids over to Liberty High School for the elementary, and then move Liberty High School up to the Blossburg area. Number three, close North Penn High School, not doing the building project, and taking North Penn High School and having some go to Mansfield, some go to Liberty. Number four, having 3 K-8s. Mansfield High School would be a 9 through 12. Number five, 3 K-6s. North Penn High School would be then a junior high, 7 through 9. Mansfield High School at 10 through 12. Number six, just basically swapping the junior high and senior high around. 3 K-6s, Mansfield High School then would be a 7 through 9. North Penn High School at 10 through 12. Number seven, Liberty Elementary School and Warnow Miller would be a K-6. And we have Mansfield High School and North Penn High School be a 7 through 12. Number eight, Bloss Elementary and Warnow Miller, K-6. Liberty High School and Mansfield High School at 7 through 12. Number 9, Bloss Elementary and Warnow Miller at K-6. Mansfield High School and North Penn High School at 7 through 12. And number 10, Liberty Elementary School and Warnow Miller at K-6. Mansfield High School and Liberty High School at 7 through 12. If you take a look at this particular slide, you'll see that numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7 are darker than scenarios 4, 8, 9, and 10. The reason being behind that is once we started looking into these different scenarios, looking at busing, looking at budget, looking at curriculum, numbers 4, 8, 9, and 10 really did not work. What we found in those scenarios was that our budget was actually not going to be better than the way it is right now. The budget would actually be worse than what it is right now, or transportation would be just astronomical. So in the different PowerPoints that I'm going to present tonight, I'll go ahead and present for scenarios 1, 2, and 3, 5, 6, and 7, but we did want the board to know that we looked at 4, 8, 9, and 10, worked our way through them, and it really was not an option at all. The outline of the presentations starts off with the scenario, educational offerings, staffing, enrollment figures, transportation, extracurricular, and budget. You'll see that in each one of the scenarios presented. Our current plant conditions. Liberty Elementary School, built in 1961, had an addition in 1990. Liberty High School, built in 1959, renovated in 72 and 99. Bloss Elementary, built in 1952, renovation and addition in 1990, addition in 1999. North Penn High School, built in 1935, renovated in 1960, renovation and addition in 1990 and 1999. Warren L. Miller was built in 1966, but had a complete renovation in 2009. And Mansfield High School was built in 1939, renovated in 1959 and 1996, and then a new roof was installed in 2008. Our 3-year budgetary projections. This particular 3-year budgetary projection that you see up here on the screen right now is for remaining status quo. If you take a look at the end of the 13-14 school year, we have a $138,707 deficit. On top of that, we have a prior year adjustment of a negative $371,296. Now, please remember when I'm giving these numbers are estimates. It's a cash flow budget, and cash flow budgets change. They're not like your normal home budget that you work with, but these are projections. In 14-15 school year, we're looking at a deficit of $893,258. And in the 15-16 school year, we're looking at a deficit of $1,809,398. Now with that, please note the depletion of all fund balance and changes are not made to rectify this situation. This would give us approximately at the end of the 2015-2016 school year, by adding up all the different differences that we have from 13-14 up to 15-16, would put us down approximately $3,212,000 by adding up all those numbers in red there. Building configuration changes were not included in these projections. All changes occur with the beginning of the 13-14 school year. These budget projections do not include the sale of any buildings. None of the budget projections reflect designations of fund balance for future liabilities, including capital improvements, equipment purchases, replacements, or reserves for future expenditures, including retirement or healthcare obligations. Expenditures do not reflect anticipated costs associated with employee benefit projections such as health insurance and retirement. Expenditure adjustments have been made based on average historical expenditures such as utilities, insurances, etc. These projections assume that state funding formulas currently in place remain in place, such as transportation, Social Security, and retirement. These budget projections do not indicate a real estate tax increase. So none of the projections that you're going to see this evening indicate a tax increase at all. These are all looking straight across with no tax increase. Current tax comparison. We looked at different school districts in our area, trying to see where we stood as far as the 1213 real estate tax. If you take a look at the chart listed above here, out of the 9 different school districts around us, Southern Tioga School District comes in 8th ranked from the highest to lowest. So in taking a look at that, with the Southern Tioga School District, I think the district in the past has been financially looking out for the taxpayers, responsible in that way. All right. On the board now is remaining status quo educational offerings. Mansfield High School is in the yellowish green color. North Penn High School is in the purplish color. And Liberty High School is in the reddish pink color. Listed up here are all the offerings that we offer right now in our high schools. When there is an X beside something, it means that that particular high school has that class running. So if you take a look at all the different offerings that we have, one thing that we are absolutely trying to do is to make it so that we are able to continue to offer what we're offering now. And as you can see, there's quite a bit up there. All right, if we maintain status quo, current staffing, right now in our district, professional staff would be the teachers. We have 168 in the district. Custodial staff, we have 22. Secretarial, 20. Paraprofessional staff count, 46. And administrative staff count, 8. In taking a look at this, with this particular slide, taking a look back since the 2007-2008 school year, these numbers that are projected up here for you right now, the professional staff, we have gone down 6.2% in the district. Support staff, we are going down 28.5% in the district. Administrative staff, we've gone down 38.5% in the district. So as you can see, from 2007-2008, we have continued to lose staff in the district. Unfortunately, it's not enough at this point. Maintaining status quo enrollment conditions. You can see back in 1998, we had 2,518 students in our district. Today, in 2012, our third day enrollment was 1,939 students. This is quite a drop, as you can see, as far as enrollment in our district from 1998 to 2012. Status quo current ride times. You can see the different districts around us as far as what their ride times are. Southern Tioga falls in there at 70 minutes. So it seems to be right on track with many of the districts around us. Extracurricular. This is what we are currently offering throughout our district. If you see something up there that's in the dark brown, it's not being offered at that particular facility, but anything that's not in dark brown up there is being offered at the different facilities across the district. Again, with this slide, it's the same way. If it's in dark brown, it's not being offered at a particular school. Any other color is being offered at a school. And the same with this one. Facilities concerns, which are pretty well immediate. The concerns include current conditions of Blossburg buildings, leaking roofs, aging heating systems, the water cistern at Liberty, electrical updates to handle technology, outdated kitchen equipment, outdated custodial equipment, outdated windows and doors, site concerns, asphalt, masonry, accessibility, etc. Status quo is defined as maintaining 6 open buildings, being reactionary, being reactive as problems occur. It's not being taken care of problems before they happen. None of the concerns listed are budgeted. This list is not by any means at all inclusive, but we wanted to bring those to your attention. Project funding notes. By maintaining status quo, the bond monies would not be utilized for any construction purposes. It will cost the district approximately $5 million to return this funding without use. Again, that's $5 million that we would be down in returning the money. Budget notes in order to compensate for the $3.21 million operating budget shortfall. This would result in a combination of the following: elimination of more than 2 single programs, levying of real estate taxes, utilization of fund balance, and losing positions here and eliminating more than 2 single programs. These positions would not have the option of recall due to furloughing regulations set forth by Pennsylvania Department of Education. We're basically telling the Pennsylvania Department of Education that we don't need a program. Non-mandated programs that we would need to look at cutting if we would remain status quo would be programs such as music, art, library, tech ed, business, family and consumer science, phys ed, foreign language. There would need to be coursework refinements in order to comply with PDE requirements. And note that the new November 2012 requirements will force adjusted current philosophy in course offerings. For example, the required keystone remediation and the 60/40 new guideline that PDE is setting forth for report cards based on school performance. The new report card that will be coming out in the spring through the Pennsylvania Department of Education that grades each school district across the state will basically require that 60% of high school students will need to take a PSAT, 60% will need to take an SAT, and 60% will need to take an AP course and score at least a 3 or higher on the AP course. That is how the PDE is looking at grading schools here in the very near future. The reason behind that is that they stated that in the year 2025, 60% of the jobs will require a college education. So therefore, they are looking to grade schools in that they are showing that they have 60% of students taking AP courses, SATs, and PSATs. On the flip side of that, they're looking forward to 40% of the school students to be taking a NOCTI test. And what a NOCTI test is, it's a test that would be given for students that would be more on the vocational or workforce track. They may have a test for early childhood education. They may have a test for culinary arts. May have a test for auto diesel mechanics. So basically, what the state is looking for is 60% of your students to take AP courses, SATs, and get a 3 or higher on the AP, and the other 40% to be in a vocational track. And that is the end of our status quo presentation. The next presentation